Alright, so we're working on the Supra today, and found the shifter bush had exploded and disintegrated. So came around to Luke's. We're maybe going to use a lathe and get it sorted, but he managed to find two bushes that were close from an 80 series clutch assembly that we then slitted to cut a little section out of so that they fit onto the Supra one. And now we are reinserting the rod that goes through the center of the bushes.
My lord, that's so sexy.
It's like a dream. Oh, look at that, amazing. I don't think it can get any more OEM, can it?
That's fucking incredible.
Yeah, all right.
Genuine Toyota parts.
Somehow. All right, now time to assemble this crap back together, which is probably going to be harder than actually repairing it, but we'll see what happens. All right, so today on the Supra, I've been driving around a little bit, and the heater's not really working, and I'm a big pansy when it comes to winter time, so I must have a heater working. So I've been trying to bleed up the coolant system to make sure there's no air bubbles in it, and I found that the heater core itself doesn't have coolant passing through it. Like, the lines have coolant in them, and the bypass, or the valve inside, sounds like it's working, but this hose at the back was hot, and then this hose at the top wasn't. So it meant that the warmed up coolant had come through the engine, gone into this hose down here, and then into the heater matrix, and then the valve inside was stuck, and it couldn't pass through the heater matrix and out into the hose that then returns it back into the coolant system and back into the radiator. So I did some digging, and apparently it's a really annoying thing to fix by pulling the dash apart and pulling the heater out. So someone said that they had this problem, and it wasn't leaking inside, it was just not switching on. So they switched the heater hoses around. So this one used to go to the back hose there, and then that one used to go to this hose. And I've switched them, and now both hoses, I think, well, that one's hot, and ouch, that one's a lot hotter. So it's getting some fluid moving through it at least, and a lot of bubbles are coming out of the system. So hopefully this is going to help free up that valve. Well, I'll do some more playing around and see what happens. Okay, so once I hooked the hoses up around the other way so it's flowing through the heater backwards, I went inside and turned the heat off and then on and then off and then on, and just kept cycling it, and it seemed to get warmer and warmer each time. And so now it blows hot air and cold air. So hopefully the system has bled up a bit more. I'll do it a few more times just to make sure it cycles through well, and then I'm gonna swap the hoses back around the correct direction and then re-bleed the system again using my super awesome bleeder thing that sucks, but I mean, it looks hideous, but if it works, it works. And unfortunately, once I fix that, it's just for peace of mind, because I don't want to drive the car much more. As I started fixing this, I discovered that there's a horrible exhaust leak back here somewhere, and I don't know exactly where it's coming from, and anyone who owns a Twin Turbo Supra knows that dealing with this is a nightmare. So that'll probably be another little video series I do, where I start investigating where that leak could be coming from and pulling off as few things as possible and trying not to break much stuff, but judging by the rest of this car, every single thing I've touched is broken. So hopefully I can get away with it, but I guess time will tell. So I'll fix this, give you one more bit of video, and then that might be it for the Supra for a little while until I start disassembling all this. Alright, so the Supra's got an exhaust manifold gasket leak, and the Skyline's got a blown up transmission.
Hey!
That's what you call a terrible fuel tank. Alright, so we're back on the Supra again. It's been sitting for maybe a month or so.